The guilt crept in like rot, quiet but steady, spreading through everything. I couldn't look Daniel in the eyes. Every word felt like a lie, every movement rehearsed. I kept my distance, stayed in my room, cleaned things that didn't need cleaning, avoided mirrors. When I did catch my reflection, I barely recognized the woman looking back, flushed with shame, hollow with confusion. Richard came home that evening, kissed my cheek, asked how things had been. I nodded, smiled, pretended. He didn't notice the hesitation in my voice, the stiffness in my arms. He talked about meetings, traffic, someone's retirement party. I nodded again, kept pouring his coffee, trying not to crumble. Daniel acted normal, polite. Nothing in his tone gave us away. But the way he looked at me when Richard wasn't watching, it pulled something in my chest tight. I wanted to scream at him to stop, to forget, to disappear. But I couldn't say a word, because part of me didn't want him to stop. At night, I lay awake beside my husband, barely breathing. Daniel's hand still lived in my skin. His voice echoed in my head. I thought it would fade. It didn't. It deepened. The wrongness clung to me like a second skin. But underneath, it was something worse. I tried to convince myself it was over, that it was one night, one lapse in judgment. But then Daniel caught me alone. He didn't touch me. He didn't even stand too close. He just said he missed me, that he didn't regret it, that he couldn't stop thinking about me. I told him not to say things like that. He just nodded. But the way he looked at me said everything he didn't. I snapped at Richard during dinner over nothing. He blinked, caught off guard. I apologized immediately, but I could feel the tension building. My lies were cracking at the edges. I stopped answering calls, ignored texts. I was slipping, drowning, and I couldn't pretend anymore. Then it happened. Richard found a note, a short, stupid note Daniel had written and never given. It started with silence, the kind of silence that grows louder with every passing day, like a wall that thickens between two people who once couldn't get enough of each other. Richard and I used to laugh, talk, touch. Now we were just two people sharing a house. No glances across the table. No warmth in his voice. I would cook dinner, and he'd eat distractedly, barely noticing whether I was there. I tried. I wore that dress he once loved, put on the lipstick he used to call trouble, but his eyes never lifted from his phone. He was always working, always away, even when he was home. I began to feel invisible. Daniel came back from college for the summer. I practically raised him since he was 14. He used to be awkward, sweet, all elbows and attitude. But when he walked through that door, I saw a man. Tall, confident, smiling in that easy, unbothered way only someone young and unaware of consequence can. I shouldn't have noticed, but I did. He hugged me like he meant it, asked how I'd been, told me I looked good, really good, and there was no hesitation in his tone. I laughed it off, brushing it away like a stray leaf on my shoulder. Still, that night, I stared too long in the mirror. That compliment stayed with me longer than it should have. Richard left again 2 days later. New York, business meeting, back in 4 days. I didn't ask questions. He didn't offer details. We were used to this dance. But that night, Daniel and I sat on the back porch. We talked, really talked for the first time in years. He told me about college, his dreams, the girl who broke his heart. I told him how the house felt too big now, how I missed being needed. He looked at me differently, not in a childish way, not like a son. It was subtle, but it unsettled me. His gaze lingered, like he was trying to read the parts of me I kept hidden. I told myself he was just being kind, attentive, but my heart betrayed me. I began to wait for his footsteps in the morning, for the way he said my